Hey everyone, my name is Shauna and welcome to the 15th figure review on my channel. Today we are looking at the 1/12 scale Tapigal Milk Tea action figure by Snail Shell. I paid around $80 US, including tax and shipping for her on AmiAmi. I would have paid about $20 less if I hadn't unknowingly bought the bonus version of her, which includes this acrylic coaster that I can't see myself using. I only ever drink room temperature water, which doesn't require a coaster. Nonetheless, I'll probably use it as a sort of base for our officially labeled Onesan type milk tea. Unfortunately for you, it's kinda hard to find her on sale now. But hold on to your wallets if you did find one till the end of the video, because she might not be as worth it to you after we take a look at her. She's not bad, but you'll definitely want to see the breakdown, so let's get right into it. The box is a nice little package reminiscent of Nendoroids and is heavily decorated. Definitely looks like they prepped this box to be on shelves in a store to help advertise itself. Inside you get the figure, obviously, an alternate face part, a little stick you use to pose her eyeballs, 4 extra hands, and a pair of extra feet with pinholes in them to tab her into the included base. Digging deeper is a box you can cut up to use as a backdrop for your figure, but I use it to store the stuff that comes inside the box, so here's a look at it not cut up. Inside you'll find the runners. Oh right, did I mention her weapons come unassembled like a model kit? This feature actually drew me to the figure as I like model kits, but for some it may be a turnoff. You get the instruction manual along with a really nice art card that I don't believe is a pre-order bonus. I also store the coaster in the box as well, but it did arrive separately out of the box. The guns took about an hour to assemble, maybe more. I did cut my finger pretty badly when making these because the plastic quality is very good and very hard too. Much harder than I'm used to, thus why I cut myself. Anyway, they're easy to assemble and claim not to need adhesive, but I definitely had to use some on parts that didn't want to stay snapped together. Most likely a user error though, as I'm still an amateur at these things. Either way, you do get the option of painting them. The manual tells you what colors to use, but since my figure paints are very limited, I didn't have anything close to the colors and wasn't going to wait for them to ship here, then paint them, then put the included decals on the guns too. I'd like to do that someday because I think it'll really spruce up the weapons, but for now, I can't be bothered. Either way, they look pretty good as unfinished as they are, and I did put on the inner decals here. As you can see, her ammo is literally tapioca balls. Yeah. Now onto the figure herself. Our Milk Tea Onesan's got kind of a gal look going with the blonde hair and quite the tan. Another thing that drew me to the figure was not her body, but her darker skin tone. I don't see it much in figures coming from Japan, so I thought that was cool. Her original face is not my favorite, and I definitely prefer this face. Here is a look at the reverse side of the faceplates, where you can manipulate the eyes with the included tool. Anyway, let's get right into the posability. Her head has a ball joint inside of her skull rather than anywhere on the neck. It lets her have some nice looking collarbones and a neck sculpt, but this is all you can do to pose the head. A big miss in my opinion. Having a good articulated neck helps you get so many good poses. It's disappointing. She has a bit of upper back movement, but only an arch, no forward bend. She's got full rotation at the shoulder, a tight bicep swivel, and a double bend at the elbow. A good wrist joint here too, so you could get some good unnatural poses as well. Pretty good articulation in the arms, but, or should I say, look. Like most guys, I can appreciate a good bust size, but when it extremely limits her posability here, it's just disappointing. She physically cannot position that arm across her body in any way due to how her breasts were sculpted. Another big miss in my opinion. No waist swivel and there's no ab crunch. There really isn't anything you can do to pose her upper body much. So let's show her legs, then I'll go further into just how bad her posability is, in my opinion. A very limited rotation at the hip, very limited. Another big miss here. I get they wanted to preserve that massive push, but Not being able to push the leg back behind her is another big miss. They can go forward that far, not very far, and at least she has a beautiful spread. Yes, I'm copying him, but why change the best format for posability on YouTube? The leg did pop out of its socket the first time I tested that pose, so be careful of that. It is easy to pop back in though, so no big deal. She has a much too loose thigh swivel in my opinion, a double bend of the knee, and a good ankle pivot, but a meh toe bend. All in all, as a swimsuit figure, she has a hard time getting any good swimsuit poses. The small arch and lack of a forward back bend limit her a lot, and the lack of a good neck leaves her feeling really stiff. But if you've got a good beach or pool chair, you know those long and loungy ones, you could get some good poses since her back is so straight she looks like she's in a chair to begin with. The figure in itself is pretty good, although I don't know why they went for the android look with neural connections on her body along with a barcode womb tattoo. Maybe you're into that. I'm not. If you're going to use the fact that she's an android or a robot to excuse the posability, just go watch a certain someone's video on a certain transformer. But, and here is a big but, I don't mean that kind, while this is my very first action figure to own, I have seen enough of Mr. Hong's videos, every single video he's ever done, to know what to expect from a posable figure. And this wasn't it, bruh. This wasn't it. I do come from experience with the Megami Device model kit line, so let's play the music and do some pose comparisons to show what I wanted, Megami Device posability, versus what we got here with the Milk Tea Onesan posability.
This is literally as far as her arms can go in. To her sides.
Size comparisons. 1/7 scale Holo by QuestCube, 1/10 scale Sento from the Beach Queens line by Wave, Pop-Up Parade Dark Magician Girl, the Yanguife Nendoroid, and the Megami Device Susanoo. Maybe since I am new to the whole action figure scene, I might have missed some universal understanding and standard that model kits are simply going to be more posable than action figures. I don't think that is actually the case, but as I said, I'm inexperienced with action figures myself in hand, so I'm not too sure. I mean, just look at Susanoo. I know she's like the pinnacle of Megami Device engineering over many years of different model kits they've done, so maybe I'm being too hard on Milk Tea Onesan here. Yes, I'm going to keep calling her that since she was described as a gentle gal sister on the page. Oh, I forgot to mention one last irredeemably bad quality. You might notice she is never shown posing with the large gun in promo pics, only casually holding it in one photo. Well, it's cause she basically can't pose with it. It's a pain to get her trigger hand to even hold it, and once she does, what do you do with it? Her breasts are so big she can't even cross one arm over to hold it like a proper rifle, nor can she even position her arms to hold it from the handle on the top. It's like they knew it would fail from the beginning, so they didn't show it in pics and sold it with her anyway. Another big miss here.
No glue. Don't need glue. Really? Think you need glue.
All in all, I'm sure you've heard the word of the day. It's disappointed. I'm very disappointed in this thing. I admit I got it on a whim and probably didn't do enough research. It's just action figures do interest me, so I finally decided to get one. I love model kits and maybe took my expectations too far and assumed action figures were basically pre-built and pre-painted model kits that will have some of that extra construction and detail to hold them together and hold the poses, which then made me expect it to be as posable as Susanoo here. All in all, I'm not happy with it as a toy, but as a 1/12 scale figure, she's fine. I'll probably just pose her in her one good pose, in my opinion, and leave her on a shelf, never to be posed again. As always with these reviews, if you like her and like what you see, pick her up. By all means, pick her up. Although she is hard to find, and where she is available, she is way too expensive for what you get. I'm not trying to deter you from buying her, or say you're dumb for getting her, or enjoying her. If you like what you see, or already have it and are satisfied with your purchase, I'm happy for you. Me personally, it's not doing it for me. My next review is the Haruhi Suzumiya 1/7 scale figure. Thank you for watching, and I hope you got something out of this video, and good luck in all of your figure collecting adventures. Farewell, my friends.
Here's a good example of them being able to achieve a similar effect of a pose. But hers just has that extra bit of feeling and attitude in it, where she just kind of looks like she's dying. One thing that's really holding her back is this lack of extra movement in her back and hips. Being able to have a figure move in these sorts of ways, and even the head, as you can see, it gives her so much more personality to be able to move stuff like that. Even just like that little extra. And as I mentioned, the neck is so important to getting that little bit of intent or gazing that you need for a good strong pose, to where she just can't move her head at all. There's just no, she's a dead doll is what this figure is. It's like they tried to make a figure that was just a plain old doll, not a representation of someone who can actually move. I mean, look at that neck. You can get the similar pose, but you lose that little bit of extra attitude you get from being able to really sell the upper body. Not to mention, these arms are disgusting. The fact that I can't move her arm any closer than this to her body because of her chest. Ugh. This is a no here. Well, granted, I made this model kit, so it's loose. Can get so flush to herself and reach across her body like that. Ugh.